Hello, everybody. Vasu, Vaddiparty, Charlie O, Casey Freelove, special edition of the Make the Money and Run show. Actually, it's not a special edition. It's our normal time, but it is a special type of show. Make the Money and Run podcast. Coming up on this episode, the only time that Ben Simmons wanted the ball was when he was wrestling with Trae Young in that Game 7 loss. The Game 7 Brooklyn Nets ended up not having enough at the end, not having enough energy at the end. The Milwaukee Bucks end up upsetting them. Is really an upset, though, but mark your bingo cards if you have the Milwaukee Bucks, Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Same with the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers right now. So the NBA, the rest of America that wanted it, I'm happy to see Brooklyn and Philadelphia lose the Atlanta Hawks and Milwaukee Bucks to the Eastern Conference Finals. And the great Marv Albert will be calling his lost series as well, too, for that Eastern Conference Finals. So a lot to talk about, a lot of baseball to talk about. By the way, the Phillies are probably the happiest the Sixers lost today. They don't have to talk about how bad they played over the weekend because they'll be talking about Ben Simmons for the next few days. All right, welcome in, everybody. You can get to us on Make the Money and Run podcast, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We're going to make a couple of quick notes here, quick changes. Download, subscribe, rate, and review anywhere you get your podcast. Casey Freelove, how are you? I will give you the floor because you have an announcement to make.
Yeah, doing well. First thing on the NBA, I am just pleased as punch. This has literally reignited my love for this league. I often go back and forth between, obviously, football is king. College basketball is my second favorite. Then when we go to that third hole, I go back and forth between baseball or NBA, and basketball is sword past baseball for me due to these playoffs, literally. I think, well done, Atlanta. Show the world who Ben Simmons and Doc Rivers are, and you did just that in front of the whole country. So we're proud of you for doing that. But in all seriousness, kind of a sad day in a way. I'm feeling a little melancholy. I've been riding with these guys for the last year and a half, and we've had a lot of fun doing the podcast. I've taken a job away from the media, so I'll be leaving both my radio and podcasting duties. It's just going to require a little more focus, and the time slots just don't kind of work out. So I say that with a asterisk because you know me. Football is king. I'm sure there's a way these guys will be able to drag me back into this podcast room come late August. But in all seriousness, I've worked in media for literally half my life, and I'm literally completely changing my career. So it's an exciting time. I'm a little bit nervous, but I also feel like I think podcasting is definitely going to be around for the rest of our existence. I'm not as confident in radio and that media form. So I'm going to take something a little more secure. Doesn't mean I don't love it. I've always had a voice for it. I've always had a face for it. I'm going to miss it. That's for darn sure. But, Vasu, Chuck, we've been doing this. We started pre-pandemic in January of last year. We worked our butts off to try and get a bunch of different, topics, things to talk about on this very program. And we did it. I'd say it's been a pretty successful run. We've had a lot of fun. Of course, there's nothing better than hanging out with your pals,
I'll say this one thing we did awfully damn good considering we had no games to talk about for a brand new show last year, and we filled that time slot without any problem here between the three of us talking for about an hour. It's gonna be a little sad. Stables Media, we joined Stables Media in March after starting the show in January, and look who's joined us, our fearless leader, Tony Russo, Big Daddy, coming in to say a few words about Casey now. Hi, Tony. How are you?
Casey, how are you, buddy? First of all, we're gonna miss you. And Vasu, how you doing? Charlie, always good looking, buddy. You looking good. Hey, Casey, I heard that a little tidbit. There was sometimes problems to fill an hour worth of show, but when you got Vasu on, dude, you don't have to worry about that. You can talk, dude. You know that. Hey, from the bottom of my heart, though, thank you.
You're not wrong.
You've done. You're gonna be missed. I hope you come back, Casey. I mean, I know with everything that's going on in this world, man, it's been a tough time for everybody.
Go ahead, Casey. You can talk to Tony here for a second.
Yeah, no, you're right. The events of the last 15 months are partially why this is happening, and I'm looking forward to a little more security in my life moving forward. But that's kind of separate. I mean, that's real world stuff. The podcast world is what I love about it. Theater of the mind. We're all very good at it. You've got literally 4 personalities that could burst through the screen and invade your house at any time. We've got Tony added to the mix here. So I'll always have a love for this medium. I think it's going to just continue to grow. And I'm hoping once things get settled in, I'll be able to return in some form. And you know this, Tony, I live for football. So these guys are going to drag me kicking and screaming back in as soon as we get that first college and pro game going here in a couple months.
Tony, anything else for Casey before I let you go?
Like they always say, when you I say, you know what? It was a true blessing to meet you, man, and to have you part of the team. And you know what? You'll always be part of the team. So we can't wait to have you back. Big job. Thank you again. Good luck to everything, Casey. If you need anything, you got my phone number. Just give me a call, bud, anytime.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure knowing you, and I'm sure I won't delete you off my Facebook. I'll still see you online.
All right, Tony, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey.
What's going on? Hey, what's going on before I let you go? Before I let you go, what's going on with Stables Media?
One time. Vasu, you cut out one more time.
I said, what's going on with Stables Media? Tell everybody what's going on with Stables Media, where we're going from here.
We're still moving forward, buddy. We've got Brock that's working on all the back end stuff. We just need to get all the show info to put all together, and then it's one step. He's great. If you click one button, everybody will have all their likes, all their pages. So that's been in the process here for the last 60 days to get everything ready to go. But I just want to make sure everybody's on top of the game.
All right, Tony, you're driving. We must be losing. We must be losing you here a little bit. So take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, we'll be in touch with you guys. Charlie, Casey, we'll be in touch. Vasu, we'll be in touch, man. Have a great day. And then Casey, good luck to you in your endeavors, buddy. And then luck.
All right, very nice of
well, thank you.
Very nice of Tony to come in and say hi. We got somebody else here, somebody who watches us every day here. So let's do this. This is gonna be the Casey Love Hour. We'll get to baseball and NBA and even a little hockey too. We got a couple of guests for hockey, so we'll even talk hockey with Casey a little bit. Our friend Robbie, who comes in. Hi, Robbie.
Hey, Casey, how are you?
Move the screen up so we can see your face.
Hey, Casey, how are you?
Good, man. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say you guys do a great job in the show. I love supporting you guys at all.
Hey, we appreciate it, Robbie. How are
man,
you?
We appreciate
Happy
it.
birthday.
You've been with us for quite some time. We certainly appreciate your support. Hopefully, we're giving you some good sports content.
Yeah, keep up the great work, guys.
Thanks, Robbie.
Hey, what are you doing for your birthday?
Oh, just hanging low, watching Padres and
Dodgers
tonight.
Yeah, all right. Who you got? Dodgers or Padres? Let's go. Give it to me straight.
I'll take well, I already know who I want, but I'll take tonight it'll probably be the Dodgers.
All right, you're invited back on anytime. All right, Robbie. Have a great time. Have a great birthday. Have one for us, okay?
Take care, yeah.
All right,
thanks, Robbie. Happy birthday.
Jeez, Casey, the body's not even dead, and we're already auditioning for a third spot. Sorry.
Well, I'm guessing that Robbie's probably going to be rooting for San Diego, considering he's on the Giants t-shirt.
I'm sure everybody within the shouting distance of my area in the Bay Area will probably be rooting for San Diego as well. All right, so we got some more surprises coming on. I got the ticker at the bottom with the baseball lines. Only 2 American League games tonight, 2 National League games tonight, and then 2 interleague games tonight. Really get serious to come in. But let's go back to the NBA that we were talking about here a little bit. Here are the lines for the Eastern Conference Finals for Wednesday night. They're going to start. Said Milwaukee, the 3 seed, probably didn't figure they were going to get the home court advantage, Casey. But 7 and 226 for Milwaukee in Game 1. What do you think?
Well, I think that when the odds makers immediately made the Bucks favorite to win the championship, not minutes after they defeated the quote super team, then not so super, are they? But anyway, the Bucks are legit, and this is going to be a great finals because the Hawks have that it factor with Trae Young and a bunch of guys that nobody's heard of. I mean, how can we understate how huge it was for that team to decide to blow out their previous coach and let Nate McMillan take over? I mean, they are the winningest team in the Eastern Conference since he took over, and there's a reason why. Because the guy played the game at a high level, understands the game at a high level, unlike a certain other Eastern Conference coach who we'll talk about here in just a little bit. And I think this is going to be a hell of a series. I don't think Milwaukee's just going to go in there and puff their chests and win, because the thing about the Hawks is they've got a presence down low with Clint Capella. They just exploited an injured Joel Embiid for a few of those games. I feel like they've got to be very confident. Now, if you're asking me to pick the series, Charlie, I'm going to go with Milwaukee, but I have no reason to believe this isn't going to be a 6 or 7 game war. And Trae Young by himself, I mean, Trae Young's definition of an rising young star. He goes 1 for 12 in the first half. Unlike Ben Simmons, He doesn't shy away in the second half. He says, give me the damn ball. He scores 4 more. That's when they really mattered. I haven't seen a team playing with this kind of confidence in so many years. And Chuck, I know you joined me in saying hallelujah to fresh blood. The first time since 94 that we don't have either one seed playing for the right to go to the NBA Finals. I know the NBA is not thrilled as far as market size and share and ratings and all that, but maybe this could actually be a good thing because fans that live in LA or New York or Dallas or Chicago can get a look at some new teams, and that has to be good because we've got to find a way to make sure the younger generation is engaged in this game. And now we don't think like we do in many years past, oh, it's going to be Lakers or it's going to be Warriors or it's going to be whatever team LeBron's on. It's a whole new ballgame.
Well, Casey, I love it also because you have two teams in the Lakers and in the Nets that basically played for that. I'm going to touch you on the shoulder, come be on my team, that you pick them kind of thing that, did well. And we can't deny the fact that they both played well, but are both on the sidelines now. And also the Clippers, who basically did the same thing. And everybody was shouting, screaming, this isn't fair, blah, 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 blah. And I have to be honest with you. It wasn't my favorite. I didn't care for it. Did they play within the rules? Yes, they did. But am I sad to see them sitting at home at this point and seeing fresh blood in there? No, I am not. And I think it's got to be encouraging to every other market in the NBA, markets like Portland, markets like Utah, Sacramento, Tulsa. It's got to be exciting for them to say, hey, you know what? We do have a chance. We can make this happen. Minnesota, for heaven's sakes, has got to be excited. Vasu?
Yeah, let's before we get back to the topic, let's welcome in one of our loyal viewers and listeners to everything on Stables Media. He's commented on everything. I hope he knows what he's talking about every time, but he does comment. I'm kidding. David Andrews, thank you for the support of Stables Media and everybody on there. Welcome to the show. Nice to meet you for the first time. You're coming in on Casey's last show. You got us, David?
Hello. Sue.
Yeah.
Casey.
Hey, David. Good to have you on. How you doing?
How we doing today, everybody?
Doing great. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. I see all your comments on all the other shows. Yeah, it's very nice of you to come in and support all of us. We appreciate the love and support. How's the weather down there in San Diego?
I can't hear. I'm so.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. But thanks for coming in. Maybe we can get a better connection. Try back in a second and see if we can get a better connection. Okay? We'll talk to you later. But thanks for coming in and thanks for supporting us, David. Really appreciate it.
All right. So, yeah. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Vasu, as far as the fresh blood thing, you're the Lakers fan, so you wanted to see kind of old royalty continue here with LeBron and AD. Can you accept the fact that for the first time since the merger, we're going to have a new champion? None of these teams have won a title since the merger. The Bucks have that title with Lou Alcindor back in '69. But since the NBA and ABA became a league, all 4 of these teams have never hoisted the trophy. I think that is absolutely fantastic for the sport.
I think it's great that the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks, who I liked in Game 7, I thought they were getting a little underrated there because to me, the Brooklyn Nets, you just can't denounce the regular season and just bring in 3 guys and let them play here and there and see how things go. You need an entire team effort. The Milwaukee Bucks proved that, yeah, Giannis had 40 points, but he was only 8 of 14 from the line. Middleton had good games and bad games. The fact they went into Brooklyn and beat them. I know they didn't have Irving, and everybody says if Irving had played, if Kyrie had played, they probably would have won. But they didn't. He didn't play, and they didn't win. And I give credit to Mike Budenholzer for having a good game plan. Giannis had 40. He did miss some free throws early, but I think all in all, he played probably his best game of the series. Middleton, 9 of 26 still. His shooting worries me on the road. 23 points. And Brook Lopez played a great game. It almost cost them the game at the end there with that bad mistake at the end there. But Brook Lopez, 19, 8, and 4. And 4 blocks he had the other night, and it's just it's one of those things that I'm looking forward to Milwaukee now. They've got the home court advantage. They've got Atlanta coming in. It's going to be an interesting night, but I just like the feeling. I don't. It's not necessarily that I want Brooklyn to lose, but the fact that they had all these teams, they didn't have all these games together, and you need a whole team effort to come in. That allows them to that what Milwaukee showed, that's what Atlanta showed. Because even Trae Young didn't have a great game last night. As we flip the screen over, 103-96 Atlanta over Philly. Embiid had 31. The other 4 starters only had 50 points. The bench 15 points. But Kevin Huerter, University of Maryland, 27 points. 20, and he shot over Curry. He was a total mismatch on Curry. And Trae Young, 21 points, 10 assists, but he didn't shoot great. And Capella had 14. And John Collins had 14. Capella had 13. Ben Simmons, what are we going to say, guys? Charlie, I'll start with you on this one. 13 assists, but only 4 field goals attempted, including a dunk that was right underneath.
Yeah, Ben's a mess. I mean, what more can you say? Ben's a mess. But Ben is not the reason alone that the Sixers lost that series. I mean, that was a team effort to lose. First of all, that series should have probably never have gone 7 games. So that's what they've got to look in the mirror first of all. And also, I think it is an elevated what's the word that I want? Elevated solution that they tried to keep making with Ben. And as Doc looked at what was happening in that fourth quarter, he has to know that team well enough to know that Ben was failing. When you see a player failing and you're up against it, knowing that if you lose, you're done, at that point, you've got to turn to somebody on the bench and say, you're the next man up. You have to pull everything out of the bag, no matter how much money you've got invested, no matter how much, what the name is, you've got to try something else. So I'm not putting that loss on Ben Simmons. I'm putting that loss on Doc Rivers because he didn't try something different.
All right, guys, before we get back to the basketball talk, let's get a couple more people in here that want to wish Casey well. Kent Sterling, our friend from Indianapolis. First of all, do you want Ben Simmons on your team, Kent? First of all,
if you can't shoot, you can't play.
Okay, that's exactly right. Easy. And then Joe Madden, who's probably as surprised as anybody in Canada about both series being 2-2 with Vegas and Tampa Bay. My Tampa Bay Lightning, or even with the Islanders, shocking. And Montreal, Carey Price looks like he's 10 years younger, Joe. How are you? Both want to say something to Casey? Go ahead, Joe. Ladies first.
I just want to say it's great to be here with you guys. Casey, congratulations on everything that's happening with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, and I cannot believe that Tampa's hanging in there with the Islanders. I have to say that. Get the Tampa Bay Lightning out of there already.
It's reverse, Joe. The Islanders are hanging in with them.
It's going to be a great game tonight.
All right, Kent, you want to say something here?
Yeah, Casey, don't go. Don't take a straight job, for God's sake. Stay in media where judgment is random and subjective. Don't get a straight job where all of a sudden you're going to be held responsible for something more than the words that come out of your mouth. Don't do it.
I like that. Yeah, I haven't worked a straight job since 2012, so it'll be quite a change. But there's a many reasons, and I'm hoping that down the line, once football gets back here, we can maybe shuffle the time slot or two and still get me in here because football is my passion. I have a quick question for Joe, though. Am I safe to still take a run up to Reno tonight and throw a bunch of money on the Golden Knights to win this whole thing, or should I hold on to that cash and maybe put it on a baseball game?
You know what? I would definitely hold onto your cash right now with Carey Price and net. He's been absolutely outstanding. Can he win this whole thing for them? I don't know, but I'm not taking any side in this series at all because it's Carey Price. Carey Price, like Vasu said, is looking 10 years younger. He's doing everything it can take, but I originally thought Vegas would take it, and I didn't think – I was actually on Montreal last night. I thought Montreal would have taken last night's game, and that came really close. They went into overtime. So I'm not saying that Vegas is going to win this series at all.
Kent, what'd you think about the basketball over the weekend, the Game 7s?
Yeah, I really enjoy watching Nate McMillan get to the Eastern Conference Finals after being fired at Indiana for being incapable of winning a playoff game as a head coach. Now he's won 2 series, and the Pacers are scratching their heads without a coach because Nate Bjorkgren was such a failure. So I love seeing Nate McMillan, who's a great dude, kind of get over the hump and find his way to the ECF. And, you made a good point. about Ben Simmons. But if they pull Ben Simmons, then Trae Young's going to go off. You know, his defense was critical in keeping Trae Young under control. But if you're going to miss 48 free throws over the course of 2 playoff series, you got big problems. 25 for 73 is not going to get it done. You got to be able to shoot to play.
All right, guys, appreciate the time. Good luck with everything. Anything last words for Casey?
Yeah, good luck, Casey. Seriously, good for you. And if you can do what I've been unable to do, and that's bring the same energy to non-broadcast work that I try to bring to broadcast work, you're going to do great.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, just get out there and crush it. I know you're going to do excellent, and I can't wait to see you coming back here and talking some football.
Thank you both. I appreciate it very much, and continued success to you both.
All right, Casey, on behalf of Joe, throw the money on Vegas because now you've got a state 401k program. So whatever money you lose, don't match it.
Bye, guys.
All right, Joe. Take care, Joe.
Best of luck.
Okay, bye, Joe. Thank you. All right, let's try and bring David back in. He's tried a couple of times. Let's see if we get him in here.
Okay,
I guess he's not.
Let's
All
talk
right.
a little bit more about free throw shooting that Shaquille O'Neal is embarrassed on behalf of Ben Simmons. Look, Vasu and Chuck, you guys are huge, 2 of the biggest baseball fans I know. I could ask you for 50 examples of yips that have cost guys their careers, and you can give it to me. The yips are much more common in baseball, but clearly this guy needs more than just a free throw shooting coach. He needs a free throw shooting psychologist, and he needs to find a way to build back up that inner confidence. I mean, how awful does the fact that guy's going to make $35 million a season for the next 4 years look? How awful does that taste if you even want to float the idea of trying to trade him to another franchise? You're going to have to eat up a bunch of that money to get somebody to take him. I agree with Kent's analysis as far as the defense, because Trae Young did torch him when Simmons was taken out. But guess what? If you didn't suck at shooting free throws, you would have to be taken out of the game, and you could just play like every other guy does in the NBA. And look, we don't need you to shoot 80% from the free throw line, but you've got to be above 65, 70%. If you're going to give your team a chance to win, you're supposed to be the leader of the team, and you really let them down. His coach said as much in a much nicer way in the postgame last night, guys.
All right, let's give David one more shot here to see if he can get us here. You got us, David?
Yeah. Oh, I'm here. I just didn't have any earphones or anything, just my phone. And,
all right. Thanks for supporting us. Got anything for Casey?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you
Thumbs up.
hear me? Vasu? Thumbs up. Okay. Philadelphia blew that. I don't think Ben Simmons was aggressive enough in that series. They definitely had the best talent. In Brooklyn, in their series, they had better talent too. And James Harden couldn't make a shot. He must have missed 6 in a row if he makes one of those,
No
what do
doubt
you
about
guys think of all?
Well, I tell you, David, we just we were going through it, and we just think that Milwaukee played better as a team. I think they relied on Durant too much. The injuries hurt Brooklyn. And then Atlanta, I mean, they're playing as a team. McMillan, ever since he took over for Atlanta, the defense has been outstanding. They've cut their defensive rating by 12 points a game. When they were running it up and down at like 120, 125, they were giving up 130. And here they only gave up 96 to a pretty talented Philly team. But what we wanted you on for was to say something to Casey, because I know you're on with us every day and you follow us. You got anything to say to Casey?
Casey, we're going to miss you, man. We love you, okay? Your input is awesome. Vasu, all 3 of you. I love you guys.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. I appreciate it. We all 3 of us have been around the sports media world for our whole lives, and it's great that we have to do a forum like podcasting where we get out there and reach some new people. The other thing I like is I have a radio job as well, at least for the rest of this week. I never get to meet my listeners to see what they look like. So it's good to see your smiling face, David, here on the show with us.
I don't like
supporting the show.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy it, and I enjoy seeing each one of you, and it makes me feel like I know you, because even though we haven't met in person, I can see you talking, and I feel all 3 of you.
Well, we appreciate it, David.
Thanks,
And
David.
I'm coming down to San Diego soon. I want to see that guitar.
Anybody want to say?
All right, David. Thanks a lot for trying again. Thanks for sticking with us.
Oh,
And thanks
yeah.
for following us every day. We
You know what?
appreciate it.
Well, guys, let's get back into this Brooklyn part of the discussion because obviously Vasu pointed out earlier, Chuck, but let's talk about James Harden. Look, Kyrie's a head case and he's an injury-prone player. This season has been an out-and-out disaster for him, I think, both on and off the court as far as some of the antics he's gone through. But I do feel bad for the Beard because you could just tell the guy was not able to plant because his hamstring is pretty much decimated. I'm not even sure he should have been out there. And you can tell, Charlie, as a guy who is one of the most dangerous three-point shooters of all time, he just didn't have that pure stroke, and he missed from spots where we're so accustomed for him not even touching the rim, just put it right through the net. I feel bad for him. Kevin Durant did everything he could. Harris didn't really help him out either. So there's a lot of fingers that need to be pointed. And again, I don't think any of the three of us sitting here are upset that they didn't get it done because I'm sick of this super team nonsense. I like the teams that are in there because they've done it, building it up. Now we could say, oh yeah, well, Phoenix got Chris Paul. Well, guess what? Chris Paul's like a journeyman coming into this season. He was starting to lose his momentum as far as people believing he'd still be an elite player. And maybe we could speak on that in a minute. But for the Harden factor, if he was even a little healthier, Brooklyn probably wins that series.
Casey, I agree. And I think what we're seeing with Harden, I think we're seeing the results of what happens to a guy's body when he has to carry a team for as many seasons as he had to carry the Rockets. You know, there's only so much basketball in every player's body. And he was the team for so long. And then over the past couple of seasons, they reduced the talent on that team and became more and more dependent on him. So he goes to a team that becomes a super team, and you think, okay, this is it. Now they're going to dominate. Well, Kyrie, we know, is always iffy, both in mind and body. And then you get there, and Harden, the body's breaking down. He is older in NBA years. And I don't know, who knows what that body's going to be like for the rest of his career. You don't know what those aches, pains, what those muscles and what those joints are really like. And I think we saw tremendous disappointment in his face because James Harden couldn't do physically what James Harden knows mentally he's capable of doing.
No doubt about it. And the fact that even somebody was even mentioning that Kyrie Irving didn't even play the second half of his freshman year at Duke before he came out. So he's been injured a lot. He's missed a lot of games. He's missed a lot of key games. And a lot of it's not really he's not really in a situation where a lot of people think of him as clutch. I mean, he had the one series against the Warriors where he made the game-winning shot. But really, outside of that, there's been a lot of games that he's missed. There's been a lot of time that he's missed. It's been I'm not happy about it because I know we put our money on the Nets every once in a while here too, and we want to win our games. So that's the main deal of it. But you just can't put three guys together and expect them to be cohesive when they don't play each other. You got to have a team, and I think Michael Jordan realized that after 7 years. And when he got Scottie Pippen, but even then it was still John Paxson and Steve Kerr that hit those shots that won two of those championships. So not just Paxson or Jordan and Pippen, Casey.
Well, I want to break down all the aspects of these teams that fell out. Let's talk coaching. Now, Steve Nash is a first-year coach. I have a feeling Steve Nash didn't have to coach as hard as many first-year coaches who take over struggling franchises because he had so much talent in front of him, and those guys have the ability to kind of in-game adjust. I'm not saying Nash did a bad job. I'm not saying he did a good job. He did a job with the team he was handed, and he's got to feel disappointed that they didn't make it to at least the Eastern Conference Finals, having been the favorite to win the whole thing up until like 3 days ago. So that's got to be disappointing. And Doc Rivers, I mean, I could do a whole podcast on how average, mediocre, below average this guy is. His decision-making is disgusting. I posted a graphic on my own Facebook page about every time that his team has flamed out of the playoffs. I believe it's 7 of the last 10 seasons in glorious fashion. Whether they had a 3-2 series lead, whether they were at home. I mean, even back in 2010 when the Celtics got the title, or excuse me, I'm getting all over the place. Let's just talk about, Doc, when he was with the Clippers. How many times are the Clippers on the verge of being the next it team, and they never take the next step, Chuck? And you have to go back to the guy that's on the sidelines trying to make in-game adjustments. The one thing I feel bad for Doc about is no coach should have to worry about his point guard being pulled because he's getting hack-a-shacked in the fourth quarter. That's a whole new dimension you probably don't even think about until it starts happening, and you're like literally white-knuckling your seats because you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? He's on defense, but I can't trust him to make baskets or even try and make baskets. I mean, when you skip a slam dunk when your team's down too late, you pass the ball, you can't coach that. So these are coaches I think that might be on different planes, because I think the Nets, if they get all three of those guys back healthy next year, will open up again as the favorite. We'll see what Nash can do in year 2. And I think Doc, once again, is just left holding the bag saying, well, what could have been, what could have been.
Yeah, and Casey, I think your point about Doc is well founded. I think we have this elevated opinion of him because he won a championship in Boston. And, when you look at the Clippers years, they were successful, but not dynamic. And so now here he is in Philadelphia. He's got talent, and then he's got an enigma. I mean, who is Ben Simmons? What should he be playing? We've been asking those questions ever since the guy came into the NBA. Should he be a point guard? Should he be a forward? What should Ben Simmons be? Nobody can answer that question. And maybe we'll never answer that question throughout his whole career. And 10 years from now, we'll be going, what was Ben Simmons? And unfortunately, I think that may be where we're headed. We've had players like that before, and that may be where we're headed. But so you can't lay it all on Doc. But again, yesterday, I know he could have gotten burned by Trey, everything else. But again, when you're in a fourth quarter of a 7th game and that's not working, a coach has got to make a decision to do something different. He didn't do that. And so I still lay the loss at his feet, not Ben Simmons.
Well, I'm going to lay this on Ben Simmons because you can't. He complains about how he's not getting the respect as a great player. You can be great at certain things of a game. And speaking of the yips, the U.S. Open, talk about the yips on the back nine yesterday for everybody there. But the fact is that the yips were there always. My guy DeChambeau almost had a hole-in-one and then bogeyed 3 holes in a row. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But the fact is that you can't be a great player. You can't be considered one of the greats if you can't have one facet of the game be so subpar that they're taking shots at you like that. And the only time that he really, and I said this at the beginning, I kind of joked, but the only time he wanted the ball was to take it away from Trey Young so they didn't motor down the court from him. And that's not the time that you want that. All right, let's move on to the West here a little bit. How about those Phoenix Suns? No Chris Paul yesterday. Devin Booker of Casey's Kentucky Wildcats. Devin Booker goes off for 40. He's one of those guys, Casey, where you don't know a lot about him. But one thing that he is good about, and even better than some of the veteran Kentucky guys that are in the league, John Wall included, that he can assess the situation and find out where he's needed. And yesterday he was needed to distribute the ball as well as score. He got 40 of the 98 starters points for Phoenix yesterday. They win by 6. I guess without Chris Paul, the Clippers made it close. The difference from Friday's Clipper game against Utah to Sunday was that the Clippers starters scored 99 points on Friday night against Utah to clips that series, and yet they only scored 78 against the Utah Jazz. Oh, hang on, we got one more well-wisher for Casey here before Casey goes to it. Our friend Christine, University of Michigan. She's on our feed all the time. Hi, Christine. Charlie, hi. Casey in here, and me, Vasu. Want to say something to Casey?
Hi.
Hi, you're on. Go ahead. Say hi to Casey.
Well, I'll do this for Charlie. He always pokes his finger at the end of the show. Always enjoyed the Big Ten. Hi, Casey. How you doing? Love watching you guys every day. Good luck with your new job.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in.
I guess they'll be missing you, but hopefully we'll see you soon.
We'll miss them, no doubt about it. And University of Michigan, you and I are still battling on Ohio State, Michigan there, Christine. So we'll fight about that another time.
And looking forward to the series with the Dodgers, Vasu.
Oh, yeah, she's in San Diego, too, so I'll hear about that. You're rooting for the Dodgers also, right?
Yeah, I was going to wear my Michigan hat today, but then I was going to wear my Padres hat too, since the Dodgers and.
All right, Christine. Well, thanks for coming in.
All right, best of luck, Casey.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christine. This is for you.
All right, a lot of love for Casey today. All our regulars on the show coming in. I mean, I might have had something to do with it, but that's okay.
Well,
I think it was worth it for today.
Let's dig into this here, Chuck. I mean, I love Cameron Payne. He's a competent backup, and when D-Book is doing what D-Book can do, I mean, Devin Booker's already propelled himself past Jamal Murray. I'm sorry, Jamal Murray was the story of last year. Devin Booker is the story of Kentucky alums moving forward. He's the best one in the NBA. I'm sorry, folks. He showed it to you yesterday. I mean, Phoenix only had one other triple-double like that in their entire franchise history. Oh, and who did that? Steve Nash, the guy who's coaching the Brooklyn Nets, who we were just talking about. The distributing of the ball, the way that DeAndre Ayton can just own down low when they want to. I mean, that guy he is going to be a big factor moving forward if Phoenix is able to get all the way to the finals. We've talked about coaching for a good part of this show, Charlie. No team loves or believes in their coach more than the Phoenix Suns franchise. And what he has done to build this up is nothing short of amazing. I think that even if Kawhi comes back, the Suns are taking this. This will not be a sweep. The Clippers aren't good enough to beat the Suns 4 times out of 7 games, in my humble opinion. And it's based on the fact that they've got depth. They've got guys that care about each other. And when you're watching a team like that, Charlie, you can feel how well the chemistry is working on the court, whether it's guys running to certain points, kind of where you pass the ball before the guy even starts to cut, like a great football quarterback does, get the ball out there to your receiver before he's even in position. That defines Phoenix Suns basketball. It's an absolute joy to watch. And as we say at Freelove Manor, my household, we are a Suns household now. The Kings are a thing of the past. Go Suns, go.
Well, Casey, I got to tell you, I've always been a Booker fan anyway. I've always liked him, and I felt so sorry for him during those awful Phoenix years. And to see him be able to just blossom and have the rest of the NBA see him blossom is unbelievable. What a time for him to get his first triple-double in his career. You know, Chris Paul out because of the COVID protocols. You know, okay, I'll go out and get a triple-double. By the way, that'll start off with 40 points. But one of the things that I just loved yesterday was the fact that he did it with mid-range shots. He was 3 for 7 for 3-pointers, but he wound up 15 for 29 shooting. And what they weren't able to do is they weren't able to shut him down in that 15 to 18-foot range. He was just moving in there, and if he had the shot, he was taking the shot. And he was just killing them because they did not seem to be able to make that adjustment when he would come in and make that move and get that shot. And it was beautiful basketball. I mean, I don't use that term a lot, and it was just beautiful basketball, and I loved it. And then, folks, if you don't think the guy's a team player, they come to him. They're talking about his triple doubles. They're talking about him shooting over 50%, and the first thing he says is, "It was a tremendous team effort. We played great as a team." That's everything you need to know about the Phoenix Suns right there.
No doubt about it. Monty Williams having a great year. I think he's already won Coach of the Year. James Jones won Executive of the Year. They were a 4-point favorite yesterday. Thought for sure the Clippers would come out and play with them, and they did. They had 2 leads of 6 points and 8 points, and the Clippers could not hold on. In fact, Reggie Jackson was not as good as he was in the Utah series. Dribbled the ball off his foot, took away the point spread for me, having the Clippers +4. But game 2 tomorrow night, it is about making the money and run. Darn it, Charlie O, Casey Freelove here, Vasu Vaddiparty. Phoenix Suns 6-2-24. The line is shot up. Is that because we have news on Chris Paul? I haven't read any new news on Chris Paul, Charlie or Casey. But What do you think about 6-2-24, Charlie? I'll start with you this time.
Wow, I don't know. You know, I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow. These kind of games, I'm not. You know me with these games. I have to settle down and start looking at injury lists, see who's in, everything else. These really are last minute wagers for me. I have to hear who the lineups are. If there's any dings, I want to know who really is on that roster. I've got to know all the facts before I lay that money down. Even though I might be able to get a little better odds if I jump in early, I'm not worried about that in these kind of games. I want to know who's playing and who's healthy, because that makes all the difference. Makes all the difference in these series.
Go ahead, Casey.
Well, I can't find really anything concrete on Kawhi Leonard, which is the other huge X factor in this series. Chris Paul's in LA. He's resting. He seems to be fine. I don't even know that he ever even suffered any symptoms. He just tested positive. That's from multiple media sources saying that was the case there. The thing about it is they're just playing at such a high level. I'm with Charlie where I would wait a little bit at the -6, but even if they lose tomorrow, they're still going to be in great shape because Chris Paul at most is only going to miss tomorrow's game and then he'll be back. And if the series is tied 1-1 and Kawhi Leonard's still out, you've got to feel good. I mean, I credit Ty Lue for making the adjustments, putting in a guy like a Rajon Rondo to get some late threes. I think all the coaches that are left are all very respectable coaches and know their X's and O's, so that won't be the issue. But it really changes what you can do down low when you've got a Kawhi Leonard and Luke Kennard and Nicholas Batum or whatever else you want to put in there. That doesn't even add up to half a Kawhi. So you've got to think DeAndre Ayton's going to be able to clean up the glass, get second chance points, opportunities, kick the ball out for 3-pointers if that's Booker, if that's Payne. Everything seems to be pointing towards Phoenix. But as the NBA showed us last round, Charlie, they want long series because the Suns sweeping everybody else out was not good for basketball. These series we saw conclude over the weekend were very good for basketball.
Yeah, Casey, absolutely. I mean, they want both these series to go 7 games. I mean, they tentatively had the finals ending on July 22nd, and obviously they're not going to make that with the way these series have been going. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And just interestingly enough, I was in L.A. All week, and, boy, let me tell you, there's nothing coming out anywhere down there in news about Kawhi. You know, you would think somebody down there somewhere would have a leak somewhere about his health. I mean, you know, LA's probably got the leakiest sports news of anybody in the country, and it is just radio print silence down there. So I lean, when that is the case, I lean to the point of he's not coming back. I lean to it's more serious than anybody wants to say, because I think if he was coming back, there would be more. Hey, you know, not that bad. Hey, he's getting rehabbed, and we're not hearing any of it.
A lot of things going on between the Clippers and the Suns. Not a Steve Nash, Doc Rivers series. A Tyronn Lue, first time in 51 years for their franchise, and the Phoenix Suns, the second time in the last probably like 10 years, I think, the last time they were there. Or you said when Steve Nash was there, right, Casey? So, all right, instead of going through the line here, because we got 2 days away and we don't like to give out picks too early because there's still a lot to digest here from the weekend for Atlanta, Philly, and Milwaukee, Brooklyn. Milwaukee is 7-point favorite on Wednesday night, 226. Casey, I'll ask it to you this way. What do you think the keys are for both Milwaukee and Atlanta to come out successfully in this series, or just the game one if you want to just go game one only?
Well, I'm going to be real interested to watch Drew Holiday and Trae Young match up. I think that's going to be an interesting and important matchup. I don't feel like Drew Holiday played his best basketball this postseason, and it's not going to get any easier against, you know, the rising young star for the Hawks. Again, I think both these teams believe in their coaches and the adjustments that will be made. You point out the fact that Milwaukee needs to improve a little bit from the shooting guard, but Giannis is Giannis. He's doing his thing. He even performed better than we thought he would from the free throw line. So I think they've got to be feeling confident. And here Atlanta, sky's the limit, baby. I mean, you're not supposed to be here, and a lot of teams ride that we're not supposed to be here momentum to very, very high heights, and I think that could be the case. Quick look at the championship odds down there in Vegas. Hawks 10 to 1 to win the championship. You could have had them at 80 to 1 like 2 weeks ago, but 10 to 1 to win the championship. Clippers 6.5 to 1. Phoenix plus 175, and the Bucks remain the stalwart favorite at plus 115. Not that Vegas hasn't already done you just rotten dirty this postseason. I don't think, guys, between the two of you or the three of us, we've ever seen a season were one of the two favorites from Las Vegas to get to the NBA Finals, didn't at least have one team get there, which will be the case this year. I was big on Philly heading in to win the Eastern Conference, but that was also because I thought Ben Simmons would play better than he did. And I think maybe if Embiid wasn't as hurt as he was, and we won't even know till the offseason, I mean, he does have a torn meniscus in his right knee, maybe they could have done it. But this is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. And I think Bucks has the makings of a classic. There's no reason to think that either one of these teams is just going to boat race through it, Chuck.
Yeah, I think for Milwaukee, I think the key is what Holiday and Middleton do. I think they've got to be very consistent. And, there's been a little up and down there in their play, but I think against the Hawks, they're going to have consistency every game because they've got to take the pressure off of Giannis. If they have those games, if they have multiple games where they lay back and put it all on Giannis's back, they're in trouble. But if they will continue to step up as they have, then it's going to be a rough road for Atlanta. For Atlanta, I'm going to give you a little wild hair here that I think is key for them. They have got Bogdanovich, who they picked up as a free agent. And we happen to know Bogey very well. Casey and I do because we cover the Kings, and he was with the Sacramento Kings. Bogdanovich can be a game changer when he is on his game from behind the three-point line. Now, in this last game, he only played 21 minutes and only contributed 4 points because Bogey is one of those guys. When Bogey is off, oh my Lord, it's off. Okay. I mean, I might as well be out there shooting a three-pointer when Bogey is off. So he can be a game changer and take a lot of pressure off of Trey when he is on. So a lot of offense can be made by Bogdanovich, and they can use him as a real surprise guy out there if he plays. But he's had a very inconsistent season, guys, and they need him to be consistent in this series if they have any chance against the Bucks.
Vasu, Vaddiparty, Casey Freelove, Charlie O here. Let's take 30 seconds here. We've hit the NBA. Both conference finals are set. Got a little baseball to talk about, and we'll talk about how my plus 1,800 on DeChambeau did not come through after he almost got a hole-in-one. We'll hit that as well. Just a quick note here on the hockey. Both hockey series are tied at 2 games apiece. The Islanders and Tampa Bay will play tonight. $1.90 for Tampa Bay, 5 the total. And then Las Vegas came away really lucky last night in overtime, 2 overtime games in that series. They're $2.40 going at home tomorrow night against Montreal. That series tied at 2 apiece. Of course, the 2 winners will go play in the Stanley Cup. Some baseball notes here real quick. Some of the series this week to look at. Obviously, Dodgers-Padres down in San Diego is a big one. Braves and Mets. Braves are in a bad position. They got a doubleheader today. First game, only 7 innings. And who do you get in the first game when it's only 7? You get Jacob deGrom. Good luck, Atlanta. Good luck, Atlanta, in that game 1 today. It's probably minus 500. I haven't seen the line yet. It hasn't come out. But Boston, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has lost 6 straight. They're now in second place behind the Red Sox in the American League East. And it's always fun when Washington and Philadelphia get together because of the Bryce Harper deals. But Washington, how about Kyle Schwarber? 5 home runs in 13 innings, 9 home runs in the last week. He's batting leadoff for the Nationals, and he's leading their charge back into the NL East. They're only 5 games out. The Cleveland-Chicago Cubs series will be good because it's a rematch of 2016. And the Angels are going to host the Giants for a 2-game series. And Wednesday ought to be good. Wednesday afternoon, guys. Kevin Gausman against Shohei Ohtani on the mound Wednesday. Not just hitting, but it's going to be Ohtani on the mound as well. So that's what's coming up on baseball. We'll review all that and more as we get to it. But after we come back, we'll have our picks, and we'll say goodbye to Casey. Tell him not to let the door hit him on the way out, but he'll still be here giving us picks on Instagram and all the social media. So back in 30 seconds with the Make the Money and Run podcast for Monday, June 21st, 2021. Welcome back to the Make the Money and Run podcast. Vasu, Vaddiparty, Charlie O, Casey Freelove. Casey's last show tonight. David Andrews says, we all love you, Casey. Thanks for joining us. Everybody that joined us. Christine says, Casey, thanks for helping me get through COVID at home this year. Best of success on your new career. So everybody gets sending love. Thanks to Tony Russo, president of Stables Media, Ken Sterling, Joe Madden, and David Andrews, and of course Christine coming in. Robbie also, we can't forget Robbie as well too for coming in. Happy birthday, Robbie! Go out and have about 20 shots on us tonight, and send Casey the bill. That'll be his going away present. All right, let's get back to baseball. Let's get back to our picks a little bit here. So I'm going to start with Charlie here on picks. Let's go, Charlie. Give us some picks that you got for the week.
Well, first of all, tonight I'm taking Houston over Baltimore, minus 165. Now I know that's a bit of a penalty to pay to take Houston, but Baltimore's so bad. And guys, this week is the first week that the umpires will be allowed to check the baseball. Now that's a bit of a misnomer because umpires pick up foul balls all the time, so they know about those balls. Okay, but this is the first week they'll be able to say, hey, this is stick 'em, and start to enforce things. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But run totals have been going up for the last 2 weeks. So now it's going to be interesting to see what those totals do. And strikeout totals have been coming down. So I'm going to stay away from run totals this week because I want to see what's going to happen. I think it's going to be very interesting. In the Milwaukee-Arizona game, I'm going against what a lot of the odds makers are saying that you should take. A lot of the tout houses that are saying, giving suggestions. I'm going to take the underdog Diamondbacks at plus 100. Milwaukee coming out of Colorado, and there's a syndrome there where the team coming out of Colorado tends to overswing in the first game coming out of there because they've been swinging for the fences in that light air. And besides that, Arizona, we're going to play the law of averages being overdue. I think, what have they lost? 17 games?
17 in a row.
So we're going to play the law of averages there on this one. And that's my criteria, folks. My Milwaukee overswinging and law of averages. And finally, this game blew my mind. For the first time in 150 games, that's right, folks, 150 games, the Dodgers are an underdog. Okay? The Dodgers are an underdog on the road. Yu Darvish is their opponent tonight, but the Dodgers plus 110 at San Diego. Baby, I got to take the Dodgers on this one at plus 110.
All right, Casey. Charlie going with Arizona, breaking their 17-game losing streak. Ordinarily, we tell you not to play the due to win, due to lose theory, but Charlie thinks 17 games is enough for Arizona, and then he's going with my Dodgers tonight. All right, final show for Casey. Final picks live on the air, but for everybody out there, he'll still be on Instagram and social media. He'll be making his picks out there as well, too, for our show, and hopefully we'll get him back in September for a lot of football talk. Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do the math when I get off air, Chuck, and see what that parlay might pay out. I think you mentioned the Diamondbacks. That could be tasty, as I like to say so often. I kind of like all those plays, so good luck on that. Light slate, so I'll keep it light. I'm not a fan of the Minnesota Twins or Mr. Happ, so I think the Reds will get out to an early lead. I'm not saying they're going to hold on and win, but I think they're very capable of being up 3-1, 2-1, 4-0 after the first 5. So give me the Reds there. And then the A's and the Rangers. The A's have been playing phenomenal baseball. They had a little tough time in New York over the weekend, and Frankie Montas, to me, is kind of the weak link pitcher. I know he's 7-6, but when I watch him, I just don't like his dynamic that much. There's something about the guy. I feel like both teams are going to be able to put the ball in play, and the A's have played quite a few unders out of their last 10 games. I feel like the over is due, and when you've got a team like the Rangers who they've beaten handily many times, that's why I'm going to jump on it. So A's Rangers over 8, Reds first 5 minus $1.30. And then if you're out there and you want to throw some money down, get in on Phoenix before the next game. As far as NBA futures, I mean, it's not going to get you a ton of money back, almost 2-1 on your money, but I'd be comfortable, dropping a Benjamin or 2 on that just to try and get some extra cash. I feel like they will be the team that ends up winning the championship.
Well, the Freelove household has become the Suns household, so you wouldn't expect anything less than the Phoenix Suns household for Ann Freelove and Casey Freelove to start rooting for the Phoenix Suns. All right, picks for me. I didn't type them down today. I'm obviously going with the Dodgers. I didn't know about the 150 games without being an underdog, but when the Dodgers are an underdog, you got to look at them. They've been red hot right now for the last week. Obviously, they went into Arizona. I wish Arizona's having a tough time right now. Milwaukee just got out of Colorado barely. They lost a couple of them. And how about Cincinnati? They just got swept by San Diego at home when they had a chance to win a couple of games. One note, anybody on Facebook see that Joey Votto meeting with that young girl over the weekend? That was fantastic. And then the Reds got him tickets for the next day as well, too. He got thrown out on the Saturday game that was on Fox. It was terrific. And he sent a ball to her and all that. And then the next day, the Reds got him all tickets back to come back to the same seat, and he got to spend a lot of time with her. And I don't know what the situation is with the family down there, but her mom printed it up on Twitter. So that's a good story to start off for the weekend, to start the week off. I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I am going to go with, as I look at the lines here, I am going to go with Houston. And I am going to go, you know what? Aaron Savali is 9-2 for the Indians. Chicago Cubs did not have a great series against the Marlins. They did take 2 out of 3. It is in Chicago, and Azole's pitched well. But Aaron Savali at 9-2, plus 140 underdog, seems to me a play for the Cleveland Indians tonight on that note. So those are the 3 I'll go with. I'll have picks for you for basketball tomorrow and Wednesday as the Eastern Conference Finals series go. Not giving you a hockey pick except to say that Tampa Bay will win tonight and take a 3-2 lead on the Islanders. At
come on.
Such a homer I am. Such a homer I am.
Come on.
And then Bryson DeChambeau, my pick from Thursday at plus 1,800, had the lead at -5 about the 9th hole, almost hole in one, number 10, got a birdie and ended up taking a 1-shot lead. And then the next hole on number 11, I think it was, his right foot slipped and he hit it right. And from then on, it was all downhill, 3 straight bogeys. And he ended up from -5 all the way down to +3 the last 7 holes. And that's an 8-shot swing the wrong way if you're going to win in the U.S. Open. Good job, John Rahm. He was the favorite going into the U.S. Open at plus 900. All right, that's all the sports for today that we have. Let's say this for Casey. Go ahead, Charlie. I'll let you start off with Casey here before we say goodbye.
Well, Casey, first of all, I'm very excited about what the future holds for you. What you're moving to is very exciting. I know it sets up a future for you that's great. I want you to enjoy your sabbatical, because that's all I'm going to call this is a sabbatical, because come football season, we are going to drag you back into this. We are going to make a schedule that fits, because we cannot have a college football and NFL football season without you. So you may not be here during the regular part of the week, but there will be weekends with Casey. Okay. We're just going to tell you that right now. But man, love working with you, and we look forward to having your picks on social media. But good luck to you in this new endeavor.
All right. I will end by this and say this. We've got a couple of minutes here, so I'm going to make it as quick as possible. Casey, I couldn't have thought of starting this show after going and visiting the VSiN guys a couple of years ago. Nobody else I would have thought of on the wagering world, the wagering show, to have except you for this show. Thank you for being part of it. I know it's been a rough year for all of us in COVID, but without this show, it was really been a dead time. So thanks for everything. For that, we're friends off the air. We'll still run into each other. We'll go to Tahoe, and we'll have a great time hanging out together. And I know football will be back, and you'll be here. So I can't imagine this show not continuing on without Casey Freelove being part of it in some aspect, and you will be available on social media for everybody. All right, sorry to give you the last 30 seconds, but it's only 30 seconds.
Well, sports are a huge part of my life. They're kind of how I make my life markers. I mark things that have occurred by various sporting events. It's just the way I'm built. I live for sports. I love the sports. I love hanging out with you guys. I love where wagering is headed in the United States. I think we've got great days ahead for those who can be responsible gamblers, almost like a new stock market opportunity, if you will, as things move forward. And I'll just conclude with this. One of my favorite lines ever written by one of my favorite authors of all time, Hunter S. Thompson, said it: buy the ticket, take the ride. That's what it's all about, everybody. Get out there, make that money, run the hell out of the casino, count it up. Good luck to all of you for the remainder of the season, and I will look forward to seeing you again in the fall.
That's all I can add to it. Have a great weekend. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Talk